Hey everyone, welcome back to Maych TV. Liverpool have kicked off pre-season with a win against Preston North End, and we're starting now to get the first sort of look into what Arne Slot is going to be doing for this pre-season and heading into the Premier League season as defending champions. Of course, at the end of every season into the next, there are big decisions to be made in terms of players in, players out, tactical changes, the promotion of youth player, etc. And over the coming sort of days and weeks, I'm probably going to be delving into a little bit more of this. Before I do, I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for those of you who watched my video recorded in the aftermath of the passing of Diogo Jota. Yeah, it was very, very raw. It remains very raw. I took my son down to Anfield that weekend to just go and soak it in and look at the tributes, and found it, yeah, incredibly moving. And then it ended up being kind of blindsided again by the Preston game and the tributes before the match too. I just think the whole way it's been treated by the football club, by the fans, has just been absolutely and utterly beautiful in the most unthinkable and heartbreaking of situations, really. And we've seen now Liverpool have retired the number 20 jersey, which is just an absolutely wonderful tribute from the club, and I'm sure more to follow as well. So yeah, look, it's been a very weird and very emotional time, and no one really wants to gloss over things. And I think the beauty is what we've seen from how the fans and the club and the players reacted at the weekend. I think we've got a full summer of tributes to Diogo, and possibly even a full season and beyond coming as well. So yes, very, very fitting for a wonderful person, and his obviously brother Andre Silva taken far too soon. And yeah, you know, the club is, and the fans have yeah, it's been crap. But I think the way it's been handled is the best that it could possibly have been handled in situations that no one in the world is prepared to deal with. So yeah, thank you so much everyone who checked out the video and you know, and got involved in the conversation. I think a lot of people are having a hard time with it. But yeah, the football is back, and as much as I don't think any of us are truly ready to move on, football does move on. So yeah, we're going to have chats around stuff, but my overriding sort of ethos with this is to try and keep it as lighthearted as possible. It was a very, very stark reminder that I think at times the way we do talk about football is just too much and too serious. It's thrown into really stark light how unimportant a lot of it is. But anyway, it is a huge pastime for all of us. It is a thing that we all get joy and enjoyment out of. So yeah, let's have a little bit of a light-hearted chat around some of the things that Arne Slot is going to be facing. What I have done the weekend just gone is I've just launched a Substack, because some of you will know I have writing ambitions. I published my dad's book that I helped him to finish writing. I've been talking about the book that I've been writing for a long time. It's going to eventually be an outlet for more creative things, but I'm also doing Liverpool articles over on there just to help me get some stuff out and hopefully improve my writing skill in the process. So if you want to check out the Substack, I'll put the link in the description underneath. I've been doing some pre-season stuff on there because it's really kind of helped me get back into the swing of things. And again, I really love pre-season. I love how fun and generally kind of relaxed it all is. So it's been a nice way to ease back into the football for me. This spins a little bit out of that, where I did an article where I attempted to predict 16 things that are going to happen this pre-season, and then, quite foolishly, some might say, predict Liverpool's starting 11 for the opening games of the season, which is just an absolute fool's errand of a thing, but it's done. You can check that article out, comment, and let me know any thoughts on that. I'm going to need your help in the Maych community to award points and score my efforts on that regard at the end of pre-season. So yeah, go over there, join up. You can subscribe for free. There is also a paid element, which I haven't added there, but if you want to help to support the channel and the writing and all that, you can do as well, but please don't put yourself out. It is just part of creating a wider thing here. Anyway, so there's a bunch of things that kind of span out of the Preston North End game that I think are going to be really interesting talking points. The main one that I want to discuss, and apologies to anyone who came directly for this in the video, we're 4.5 minutes in and here we go, but the left back stuff is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating to me. Kerkez has come in, clearly labelled as the man of the future. I did a video a few weeks ago looking at what we were getting in him and what a dynamic player and potentially the next Andy Robertson, and some benchmarking of some great Robertson seasons in the past, and the decision that had to be made with regards to what Slot was going to do. that was thrown quite starkly open by the first game, because we saw in the first half 11 Kostas Tsimikas playing left back. In the second half 11 we saw Milos Kerkez. In the second half 11 we also saw Andy Robertson, but Andy Robertson was playing left-sided centre half. Now we've seen him do that previously for the club. PSV Eindhoven away from home in the final dead rubber of the Champions League games. Robertson did that job in there as well and was absolutely fine. No one necessarily, I think, sees it as a long-term thing for him, but we often do this with pre-season in the early games, and you go, ooh, is that a strong indicator that we're going to see something, yada yada yada. In the Redmond podcast on Monday afternoon, I saw people suggesting maybe Robertson in a back three. That could definitely be a possibility. I do want to know your thoughts on Robertson and whether this is the sort of a writing on the wall type situation. Is it far too soon to judge, or was it just a born out of necessity thing where Liverpool were short on centre halves? You look at what you've got a ton of fullbacks there, someone's going to play centre back, pick the best option from there and go with that. And I think that makes sense, because there's no value in paying Milos Kerkez at centre half. He needs to learn to play left back for Liverpool. Kostas Tsimikas has not done that at all, and Robertson has done a fraction of it. So is there just a logical pathway that while Liverpool are short on centre halves, that was Robertson as the senior player, it fell to him to take up that responsibility, to take that one for the team? Or on the complete flip side of that, is this that strong indicator that Arne Slot is demonstrating what his left back pecking order is? And that is to say that, okay, you know, Tsimikas, Kerkez, whether it was first half team or second half team is kind of irrelevant. Kerkez is the guy who's been brought in, so he is obviously in the pecking order immediately for left back, nailed on, fixed in that sort of position. But therefore, yeah, has Robertson slipped beneath Kostas Tsimikas there? Because in my mind, and something I've started to build up in note form, which I think I'll expand on probably this week over on the Substack, is when we're looking to construct the squad, you only carry so many players, and the only example we've got from last year is from last year and how Slot did it that way, which is to say that in certain positions you need a certain volume of footballers. So I think you need 2 left backs, 4 centre halves, 2 right backs. If you're playing a double pivot, then you need 4 for that. If you're playing attacking midfielders, you need 2 for the 2 10s as an option for there. You've got a front 3, then you need 6 players for that. That's broadly what Liverpool did last year. So in that regard, yeah, we currently own 3 senior left backs, and that would put one of them either in a position where, well, literally in a position where they're not going to be making the substitutes bench, or lines them up for a potential transfer. Now, going into the summer, I believe it was on the Kerkez video, the case that I put forward was, yes, Robertson might be seeing a waning of his powers, but what he makes up for that is just incredible experience. You know, he's won everything with Liverpool. He's got a brilliant character. He's, you know, international captain to throw into that as well. And he is a standard setter in the changing rooms that you're getting as well by keeping him around the squad. Tsimikas is a very, very well liked footballer, not quite, never quite of the quality of Andy Robertson. Otherwise, he would have challenged him more for that position in the time that he's been at the club, but certainly more than good enough to play in any given situation for the Reds if needs be. Good set piece delivery, probably a better all-round technical footballer. I think his left foot is a more technically gifted mover of a football from dead ball situations and just passing and crossing, I would say, than Robertson. Is that fair? Agree or disagree? But yeah, just not as tactically astute, not got the pace of Robertson, etc., etc. He is a little bit younger than Andy Robertson to throw in there as well. And also, one thing that might be the entire crux of this conversation, Kostas Tsimikas is very comfortable being a second choice left back for Liverpool, and this is a brand new scenario for Robertson. He hasn't been a backup left back for Liverpool since he joined the club, and even then he was always brought on a pathway. If you remember, having done a season with James Milner at left back, Alberto Moreno was brought back in and actually had a really, really strong start to the season, probably as good a performance as he'd had for Liverpool, but He got an injury, Robertson, who'd been understudy and finally got his chance, and Liverpool never looked back from there on. And yeah, we've had the Robertson that we've all known and adored ever since. So this is one of the huge things, because when you go through Liverpool's squad, there are some big decisions to be made in terms of volume of footballer. And again, things I'll probably expand on when I've got a little bit more time in other places, certainly on the Substack and perhaps here on YouTube as well, if I can articulate it in a video sense well enough. But these players are, like, for example, Stefan Bajcetic and Tyler Morton and Harvey Elliott, who are good footballers, some with high ceilings, some who are maybe good up but not quite good up. They're decision points to be taken. But Andy Robertson and the left-back situation is one of those really unique scenarios that we've got in the squad where we are just holding too many footballers and there are not enough minutes to go around for those. So a hard decision is going to have to be taken, and it will be really interesting to see in these early games coming up. We've got obviously 2 games on tour. There's AC Milan in Hong Kong and there's Yokohama in Tokyo, or in Yokohama. Whether we see Andy Robertson restored to left back in that. And the answer always is take very early pre-season games with a huge pinch of salt. And the side factor to all of this is, I think there were 9 Liverpool senior footballers who weren't selected even for the bench. They've got to go back into the pool yet, and that would change the complex of things. There are players like Lucas Stevenson is an example who I thought did a really good job in the first half at centre-half, who won't be in any long-term consideration, you would imagine, for that. He will have suitors after, according to Dan Club, a very good season on loan at Dundee, albeit in midfield as well. So yeah, but yeah, the landscape is going to change massively, and I think some of the younger players that we've seen, they naturally get kind of pushed out. Liverpool hold a lot of footballers, but the left back one is one where, yeah, a really important decision has to be made. It is slightly connected to the centre back thing for sure, and if there is any tactical shift, as mentioned earlier, you know, if they wanted to shift to 3 at the back, then we would need to definitely go into the centre back market. How good a prospect is Amara Nalo? Are we going to see Wataru Endo used as cover for centre half? There is clearly I think right now, Jarell Quansah, I don't think Quansah would have played at the weekend anyway, even if we hadn't, because of the under-21 involvement. So we still would have probably played those lads that we played at centre-half in that game, even with Quansah around. But it does add a couple of question marks in there. I think you need 4 solid starting quality centre-halves, and then you're going to need a couple who can dip in and do bits and pieces potentially. Is that a potential upsell for Robertson? Because if he can spell a little bit at centre half, that would make him slightly more enticing again than Tsimikas. Not hugely, but you know, when you're doing your accounting on this, any like fractional advantage you can get will only add to the pros column of keeping a particular footballer. And the last point on this really is that, who are the suitors? Who are the takers? We haven't seen any talk for Kostas Tsimikas, although I'm sure they could find a football club with him. He's clearly international calibre, Premier League calibre, Champions League calibre, and plenty of football clubs would fall under that sort of umbrella. But we have seen Atletico Madrid link with Andy Robertson. They don't seem to have been very respectful in terms of how much money they're prepared to stump up for it, but that is a decision to be made. And obviously contract situation, Robertson's is running down as well. Would you give him one last hurrah and let him leave on a free as you know, an all-timer, perhaps the best left-back ever to play for Liverpool? That's a strong consideration as well. But it comes back to Robertson and his mentality and his ego to some extent. You know, we've seen a lot of really good footballers over the years struggle with that concept of how do you go from being the main man to being on the fringes and, you know, being a support role player instead of a mainstay of the team. A lot of them really struggle with that transition. Big decision for Liverpool, big decision for Andy Robertson this pre-season to be taken, and there are a number of those around as well. So yeah, let me know what you think in terms of the left-back order. Obviously Kerkez, clearly the long-term future. You don't buy him if he's not. A real invigoration of fresh blood down that left-hand side. So exciting to see just in 45 minutes, the grit, determination, the flat-out pace and acceleration. I think we're going to have lots and lots of fun with Kerkez, and similarly for Frimpong on the other side. But yeah, what would you do? Who would be your backup or like competition player? Because Tsimikas, I think, is definitely the backup, but would Robertson provide more competition? Anyway, all interesting discussion points. Let me know in the comment section underneath. Don't forget to drop a like. And yeah, please do come and check out my Substack. I say it's completely free. Do go over there, subscribe for free. You read the Liverpool stuff. I'm going to be, my aim is to do at least one monthly article. I've already done like 3 because I'm just quite enjoying the process of it. I said there is a paid element to it. I did toy with a Patreon a few years ago and then couldn't quite make it work. I've looked at a variety of other bits and pieces along those ways, YouTube memberships, etc. And I like the writing. I want to do more of the writing, and it allows it to be a bit of a hub for the YouTube channel as well. The YouTube content's going to sit within there and then allow me to do other bits and pieces. So yeah, if you want to support it as a paid subscriber, you can do, but also there's going to be plenty of additional free stuff on there as well. Link in the description. It's called Maych Publishing, by the way. So you've got Maych TV, which is this, Maych Publishing, and we're carrying a nice little through line in the branding there, aren't we? So thank you so much for everyone. I think at time of recording, we've just broken the first 100 free subscribers. So that's cool. That was really fast and really enjoying that. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And yeah, thoughts below. Nice one.